the first thing I'd love to, to hear from you is before I, I want you to kind of give just a brief background on both you and Troy, sort of before you guys met me, before you started working with us, and how you just entered the market. I'd love if you could just share a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, prior to moving to Georgia, we are general contractors, doing custom homes and remodels, high end. And then coming to Georgia, it was a whole new take on my end. I never did any marketing, never had to. So it was just getting into this area and feeling it out and starting my company out here. And prior to that was really just relying on networking and talking to subcontractors out here and getting the ball rolling to make sure that we can, start building houses out here. And eventually that's where it led to.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. And how were you generating business before we met? What was sort of the primary method? Because you guys were pretty new to the market, like you said. How were you generating attention, putting your name out there and doing that?
Once we moved here, it was really just word of mouth, meeting neighbors and just talking to people, going to little meetups and things like that, just networking. Um, and then it was a whole thing about, getting my license in Georgia because I couldn't bring it over from California. So there was a stale time that we just kind of flipped houses and did little remodels of friends that we just met and things like that. And then once we got our license, I was able to still just word of mouth. It was always just networking with people like locally. It was never too, I didn't know where to reach out. I started talking to architects and things like that, but I didn't have anything, because I know how it is. People kind of will blow you off. You're new in town and they're like, oh, whatever. So it was more just kind of talking to architects and designers, but that didn't really go anywhere.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. And then Jeff, going back to when you and I first met, I to be honest, I don't remember if I sent you an email or if you came in through an ad that we were running. I think it was one or the other. But what what kind of pushed you or swayed you to wanting to work with us? What was it specifically that drove you to wanna, partner up with us?
Yeah, I mean, first I think we saw you on an ad online, and then I reached out to you and I just gave you my backstory. I gave Thrive my backstory as far as, not new to the area, but not new to building. So it was kind of Eric let me on board to do the marketing because I wasn't established in Georgia, but I've been established in California. So it was just taking that leap and getting in touch with you. I liked the way you had it set up, and I felt, just at least reach out. And I knew I didn't meet that quota of the builds down, out here in Georgia, but once we started talking, I think it made sense for myself and for you ultimately as well. I really I liked our conversation initially that we had, and it made sense. And it's all back in the past now and going forward.
Yeah, Jeff, I believe so. It's been about 4.5 months now,
Mhm.
since we got on that very first call.
Right.
And I'd love to kind of hear from you. How would you describe, the experience so far? Obviously, in the beginning, we had our initial onboarding. We had the call with you guys to try and understand exactly what you're looking for. But since then, up till today, how would you describe your experience?
From day one, from our conversation, I think we took a couple days to think about it, then got back in touch. And once we were on board, it really just kind of took off. I mean, me and my partner were actually very surprised because I think in the first week we had something like 10 or 15 booked, conversations or booked meetings with potential clients. And one of those clients from that first week, even though I was green and just talking to different clients, it was one of those clients that week is one of the ones I'm building or pricing out and budgeting for right now. So it's been a great experience. I mean, it's been, being able to reach out to a whole lot more people that never built a house before, or people that have, and so a whole range of different people. And whether I talk to people and they're not, ready to go right now, it's just making that conversation. The more people you talk to, the more you're going to get referrals and things like that. So it's just a matter of time. And since that first week, I think I've had upwards of 200-300 calls, and now the ball's rolling. Building a custom house doesn't happen overnight, so it's a lot of planning, and it's a lot of the city permitting and all that. So it's been a lot of conversations with potential clients, and it's all coming together.
Putting numbers out there, you've spent about $4,600 on ads, and this has been on paid ads directly to Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, about $4,600. Do you mind quickly just breaking down for me what you have in the works right now from that $4,600 that we put in to advertising?
Yeah. So for all the ads that we've ran, right now at that $4,600 amount, we've gotten 3 sets of plans, 4 other very serious people that are purchasing land or have land, and talked to them, and in the pipeline of people that want to start in the coming months and things like that. Probably another 10 to 15 serious people that want to just, they're not very fast right now, but they probably in 2026 they'll be going after it. So it's been a good money well spent. So it's been a great investment, and it's I wouldn't have been able to do any of those conversations without marketing and you guys. I mean, Eric and his team are quick and responsive to any questions I had at the beginning, and it just made it very comfortable to talk to people and kind of figure out what they want and what they're looking for in their builds.
Perfect, Jeff. Thank you. I mean, the last thing I want to ask you here, if someone is on the fence about working with us, maybe they're talking to other companies because there's a lot of them out there. They're unsure, maybe they've never tried our system before, or any marketing for that matter. They've just been purely word of mouth and referral based. What would you tell them?
I would say if you're on the fence, to give Thrive and Eric and his team a chance, and you will not be disappointed, because you're not just, the bigger the companies of marketing, then you're just kind of a number. You're really just a number and a check, some income for that company. Whereas Eric and Thrive is personable. It's a smaller outfit, but they get the job done, and it's worth taking that leap to get into it. If you've never done marketing like myself, it could be scary. It could be, is this guy for real, or what am I going to get out of this? What's my return? But once you start, you'll be at ease knowing that you will get a return on it. And it's, don't expect it to happen overnight, which that's never going to happen, but just expect it to happen, because it will.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, well, that's all I had for you. Thank you for your time, and I really appreciate this quick call.